'cause the world keeps spinning and they don't listen. Do you feel like giving up? Have you
Yeah, coming at you live. LinkedIn live stream. Happy Thankful Thursday. What a day. It's hot out in Chicago. I love it. Thank you all for joining me today. And I want to thank Noel, Michelle, and Abel Gray for allowing me to use some of their music in the background. It's super cool. I want to respect, of course, artists and what they create. And I will always not only give props, but I will always honor the fact that what they're creating deserves to get paid for, and of course, deserves to be promoted. So, hope all you are having a great day. Let me know if anything doesn't sound right. I've got air conditioning blowing in here. Finally, it was out for a few days. So I may need to hold the mic up to myself a little bit more, which is fine if that's what I got to do. But in the meantime, we'll let a couple more people get on the show and we'll get going. All right. We got Marcello. Dave LoSavio, have a great show. Thanks, brother. John Vigilante, my friend. Thank you so much. Mr. Nate Rubin. Yeah. Nate is celebrating his 1-year anniversary at Northwestern Mutual today. How cool is that? I know John just became a licensed real estate broker in the state of Illinois. So he's someone I'm looking forward to collaborating with in the future. Brandon says he's ready to live beyond default. What's super cool here now too is the studio just keeps getting better and better, right? Like the place is clean, it's laid out a little better, tech is getting better. And did I mention that the air works? Yeah, the air totally works. I absolutely love it. So yeah, we're all doing well. Thank you again for joining me, and let's kick it off on this Thankful Thursday. All right, everybody get their coffees. You know I got my bulletproof coffee going on here. Yeah. There's nothing like that bulletproof coffee. I got some Conscious Cup beans in here, Robot Heart. I got some grass-fed ghee. I got some MCT oil. I've got some little tiny bit of chocolate. And then I have my favorite, some cinnamon, and of course, cayenne pepper, because cayenne pepper's the hottest. Don't we all know that? All right. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday. We got a half hour to share and invest together. And welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default. It's episode number 20. Can you believe it's already episode number 20? My name is Dave. I'm a realtor in the Chicagoland area. I'm a personal development nerd. I am a lover and purveyor and encourager for Team Human to grow and always be expanding. And I am super grateful and happy to be here with you all. So today we're going to be talking about network equity, which is the account that builds your bank account. Network equity. What is it? How do we grow it? And why does our network equity even matter? Now, you know me, I'm a people person, right? Which is why I love doing this live stream, which is also why I love collaborating with cool people. You all know that. So for me, this live stream is near and dear to me because I challenge myself to live beyond default, which is creating a life of design versus accepting a life of neglect. Because we know what the life of neglect does, right? We sway off, We do shit that really isn't serving us. And next thing you know, we're in that like default mode. So that's why we're here. We're building the community. Share in the comments what's on your mind. Share with me the biggest win that you had this last week, and share with me what you got coming up this weekend. And remember, if your week has not been epic so far, now's the time. Now's the time that, number one, we're going to take responsibility for our own actions, because we don't point out there and say, oh, my happiness, oh, my success is due to that out there. That's victim villain mentality. We don't go for that. We take full responsibility for where we are today. And moving forward, we're going to make the rest of the week epic. So thank you again. Tyler Hawk came for my weekly dose of Dave, stayed for the personal growth. Thank you so much. Michelle, cash money and interest is in the people. That's most valuable. You got it, Michelle. And Michelle Norton is going to be on the show next week. So it's going to be divided here. I don't know what side she's going to be on. What's really weird is like the way this camera is, I move one way and it goes the opposite way. So, but Michelle Norton is going to be on the show next week. And I'm so excited about that, because we're going to nerd out on personal development. And, you know, we don't agree upon everything, which is what it's all about. Like, we don't subscribe to cancel culture here at Live Beyond Default, right? We encourage different opinions. We encourage and we listen why people come from the place that they do and where their thoughts and actions come from. That's what we do. We don't cancel people out. We listen, we learn, we expand. And at the end of the day, if we don't agree upon something, we could still be friends, right? Watch Mr. Rogers. He'll tell you about being friends. All right, cool. John Vigilante says, the power of now. You got it, brother. Elena Pop, how are you? Good to see you. Nate says he's hosting Celebrate 1 Year at Northwestern Mutual Chicago. Yep. Would you like to attend? Check out that link. And we are super, super cool. LinkedIn user says, you are speaking my language. You know, LinkedIn user, whoever you are, your name's not popping up. It's all good. I am obsessed with language patterns. And I truly believe that our language and our thought patterns will manifest and bring out our actions and what we get in life and what we don't get in life. So I'm super, super focused on language patterns. So I hope I trust everybody had a great week. We're ramping things up in the Chicagoland area as it's getting warmer. Real estate is booming even more for me. But most importantly, I want to share something where I find that collaboration is really important, because for so many years, we were all taught like competition, right? We're going to compete here and we're going to compete there. And I get it, like in sports and on the field, like that's a place to compete, right? Well, what I like to think is that the only competition that I have is myself when I look in the mirror. And the idea is to be a little bit better every day. The idea is to leave people better than when I found them. Slow and steady progress. That's to me what wins the game. So with collaboration, I was in a recent real estate deal with a seller's agent that I knew, and this applies to everything in life. But the point was, like, I had numerous conversations with him about my clients, and the negotiation process just goes back and forth and back and forth. And the important thing with negotiation is go for the no and bring it out right away. So Scotty Telema, who is a hostage negotiation expert located in the Chicagoland area, but he speaks all over the country, a friend of mine, and he is a police officer for the Schaumburg Police Department. Thank you so much for your service. And of course, Chris Voss never split the difference, right? It's all about negotiation. The idea of negotiation, though, is so everybody wins in the end, or everybody's happy walking away at the end with the deal that they got. So the idea is always bring up the elephant, always bring up the no, always bring up what could be bad right up front and get that out of the way. Because if it comes up later on, the deal is gone. It's no good anymore. So I applied that. And although my clients decided not to go through with the deal, the space, the arena, the opportunity to grow and the opportunity to get under that contract was there. And of course, it's not the end result, right? It's the process. So I was super grateful to be a part of it. All right, if you're just joining us, this is episode 20 of Live Beyond Default, your weekly dose of personal growth. And remember now, we don't always have to just watch this, right? If you're at work, just keep the tab open in the background and listen, or while you're driving, or while you're doing the dishes, or while you're working out. Super, super cool. It's Michelle Morkert. You are speaking my language. Michelle is part of the Divine Feminine, both Michelles that we have on here today, but Michelle is super cool. Check her out. Click on, if you're on watching this live, just click on her and see what she does. I know that she's also on Clubhouse on Fridays, so she hosts a show. And one of these days, I'm trying to convince her a little bit, takes a little convincing, but one of these days she's going to be coming on this show too, just like Michelle Norton is going to be next week. All right. Love your enthusiasm, Dave. You friggin' rock. Thank you. It's not just a bulletproof coffee. I was still up at 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Where are your children at 5 a.m.? I'll tell you where this child was. I was meditating for 10 minutes. I was doing my Wim Hof breathing exercises. You know who Wim Hof is? He's a freaking badass. And if you don't know him, look him up, because his breathing exercises are epic. They are beyond epic. And it's part of my morning practice every single day so I can ground myself. Because let me tell you, when I wake up and this computer starts, it's all over the place. I'm a freaking mess, right? And that's okay. It's okay, because I'm not going to resist it. So thanks for joining us today. And Craig Ribbon says, glad I was able to pop on today. Craig, thank you so much. I've known Craig since I was a little kid back in the high school days, which is so cool. Matthew East says, Dave, you always bring great value and high energy. Thank you, Matthew East. Matt and Craig, two people that are bringing value to our community, that are bringing value to the marketplace. And most importantly, I know, just like me, they've both had struggles, right? And it's okay, because we're not going to throw sprinkles on a shit show here at all. What we are going to do is we're going to recognize that we have struggles, and it's okay. And when we have the struggles, we're going to surround ourselves with the right people, and we're going to get a little bit better. And yeah, we might mess up sometimes, but again, that's okay. It's all about forward progress. So Craig, Matt, you are both an inspiration to me and the progress that you made in your lives and what you're all doing. And I super, super appreciate that. Jack Butita, positivity is great. Networking is a must. Jack, thank you so much for showing up. And Penelope, love you. Love that picture of you. You're awesome. Thank you for showing up too. All right. So I'm going to move this a little bit here. I'm going to move this a little bit here. And if y'all can't hear me very well, just let me know. I'll turn up the mic a little bit. But I believe we're all good. So Katie Bergansky Frank says forward progress. Yes. Talk about KB. Now, first of all, Katie has incredible long flowy hair, which I'm super jealous about, right? But the funny thing is, Katie is so kind. She is in the nonprofit world. She's also in the financial world. And she really just shows up serving. She has such a kind heart. She shows up with love. And that's why we love you, Katie. And we love that you're here. And Tiara, yes, my girl from the South Side, Tiara. Good to see you too. Okay, so let's get into it now, right? Let's talk about network equity. What is network equity? I define it as the account that builds your bank account. But it's not about the bank account. It's all about adding value to your network. Now, 7.5 years ago, when I woke up one day and I decided to stop drinking for a month, it kept going and going. And I started realizing that other things in my life weren't serving me. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be drinking. I'm not saying anything. I'm just sharing my behaviors and what I've done in my life. And I'm sure that there's all things that we all do in our lives that we could maybe be doing a little better, right? That's the whole point. So when I decided to do that, after a couple of years, I recognized something. And what I recognized was how important, as things were getting better, how important it was for me to be surrounded with the right people on a regular basis, whether it be my friends, whether it be family, whether it be work, whether it be the area that I lived in. Most importantly, though, my inner circle, my tribe, my crew, right? My needs are your needs, the people that you're closest to, because you are the combination of the 5 people that you are closest to. You sound the same. You look the same. You wear the same clothes. You make the same money. You got the same belly or not the belly, right? Whatever it is, it's all good. So I recognize that something that was super important with network equity is when I wanted to meet somebody, or I wanted to be get some leadership for somebody, or I wanted to be, let's say, part of a group, not as an egoic thing, just in a matter of what the energy was and what level they were in life. What I did, the first thing I would think of is, okay, how am I going to add value to that person? Not what can that person give me? Not what am I going to take from that person? The question was, how may I add value to that person and in their life? And if they'll receive that value and give me value back, it's great. And if they won't, that's okay too, because we know that we're all doing the best we can with what we have always. And that's super cool to remember. So what is your network equity? It is the account that builds your bank account. It's the group of people in your network that if you lose everything in life, right? You lose your mind, you lose your money, you lose your car, your house, or whatever it is. If you have that network equity, you will always be able to rebuild. Do you ever see how like some people will lose everything and then all of a sudden they'll just be able to rebuild it and get everything back? Most of that is because of their network and the network equity. Katie says forward progress. Yes. Craig, I really appreciate you too, brother. I love that you said you don't resist the mind drama and struggles. That's power and progress. Yes, LinkedIn user who said that. I love that you said you don't resist the mind drama and struggles. So we know that what we resist persists, right? The system, whatever that even is, it's set to defend itself. So think about this. When you resist something, oh, this person is acting this way, right? Sounds a little victim villainy, but think about that. When you resist something, all you're doing is you're feeding it, you're putting gas on the fire. So instead of it, my opinion, not telling, right? Just sharing. My opinion is you accept what is, you love what is, and then you do your best to change or to pivot or to recognize that maybe this is not right for you, or you don't want to be a part of this situation. And then you take responsibility for what's going on and showing up in your life versus resisting what's going on out there. And let me tell you, the energy that you save by not resisting. Oh, and you'll find people that want to resist, right? Like that's all over the place. You can talk to anybody in a coffee shop or on the street and start like pointing and saying villain about something. And oh yeah, you're going to get a whole group of people. Now, is that the network equity you want? I don't want that. So thanks for saying that. Jessica says, morning. Good morning, Jessica. Great to see you. I love that picture of Jessica with the glasses. That's such a cool picture. Thank you for the flowy hair. Yes, Katie, thank you. So Michelle says 2 people can have 10K in the bank, but the story behind that 10K is what matters, AKA the power behind the relationship matters. Super cool. Michelle Norton, I love that you said that. Thank you. Network equity is so important. What is it you are bringing and adding to your network? My inner circle is smaller, but my outer circle is large. And that's really important too, right? I've read before that really the brain could only know 150 people. And they came up with that number scientifically over many, many years, but the brain could only handle 150 relationships. That was out of a recent book I just read. And I think that's super important to recognize that. So what Brandon said is maybe you only have 5 or 10 people in your inner circle. That doesn't mean that you don't pay attention, you don't love everybody else. It just means that there's only so much. And if you know me well, anybody on this live stream, if you know me well and you shared something with me in your life, you'll know that I've probably said back, first of all, thank you for your trust. And I've probably said back that I've become a better listener over the years because I'm not trying to be friends with 100 people. I'll have 150 or 200 acquaintances, excuse me, but I'm not trying to be friends with 150 people because I just don't have the capacity for it. And I want to be able to show up for the close people in my inner circle and be present and listen and understand and not try to solve shit, right? I'm not here to solve anything, just here to listen. Although I'm talking a lot now because it's a live stream. So that's what I do. If you're just joining us, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default Livestream, episode number 20. Share in the comments, share this link with your family and friends. And if you don't like something on here, tell me, because feedback is the breakfast of champions, along with this water in a copper bottle. Has anybody been drinking water out of a copper bottle? You know who told me to do that? Sadhguru. You know who Sadhguru is? You got to check him out. Oh, he's enlightened. He's got the cool beard. He's the shit. So the copper, I fill this water up in the evening, and then I close it. And what it does is the copper charges the water. And that's a whole nother show that we can get into, but we don't need to go on with that. So, excuse me. So network equity, the account that builds your bank account, connecting with these relationships and thinking, how may I add value to Jessica Villev? How may I add value to Tiara Davis or Katie Bergansky Frank? How may I add value to Mr. Value himself, Brandon Cork? How may I add value to all these people, right? Super, super important. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. Why does our network equity matter? Well, first of all, team human, right? We are a society. We want to be together. We want to be accepted. Now that could be a little validation thing, but the point is the network equity matters because it's really the value of who you are. And I truly, truly believe that. And as you build your network equity, the funny thing is like more money comes in, right? So would you rather have 500K in the bank and no bills, but no friends? Or would you rather have 100K in the bank or 50K in the bank and you're paying your rent, but you have a little extra money and you have a ton of friends, right? Now, that could open up a whole thing. And maybe that's what I just did. The point being is there's a lot of people that are super, super wealthy in dollars and they're not very happy. Now, that doesn't mean that, oh, money's bad or, oh, it's cool to be poor, right? We're not throwing a stone at anybody. What it means is that what is important to you in your life and what do you value? I personally value the relationships and the people in my life. And that's what I value. And at the same time, I've recognized the more value that I bring to my network, the more value that I bring to the real estate market with my buyers and my seller clients, if you're local, the more value that I bring to all these people, I actually make more money. And that's kind of funny too, how that works. It just does. And my eye is not on the money. My eye is adding value. So why does your network equity matter? Well, for me, I like to collaborate with cool people. I like to surround myself with cool people, ballers, and people that are going somewhere, and people that challenge me to play big. Oh, That's a good one. Challenge you to play big. Oh, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. No. My partner Joe challenges me to play big. People in my crew challenge me to play big. And that's super, super important. Think of that when you're with people, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your manager. If you don't own a business and you're not an entrepreneur, is your manager challenging you to play big, right? Or are you just coming in and punching a clock and then leaving? Like the movie Office Space. Fucking great movie. So that's why our network equity matters. If you're just joining us, we're 25 minutes into it. If you're just joining us, watch the replay, share with your friends, and thank you so much. So let's get on. How can we grow our network equity? Number one, we grow our network equity by showing up and wanting to add value. Number two, we grow our network equity by listening and not talking. Listening to understand versus listening to respond. And if you find yourself kind of spacing out or wanting to go to your phone or not paying attention to the person in front of you, an easy way to become more present is number one, catch your breath. Number two, think of your toes. I love that one. Think of your toes. When you connect with your toes, the bottom of the body, it allows you to be more present and you actually focus and absorb and pay attention to the person in front of you. Number three, I always think about, as I like to say, the anchor out the ass, right? So what that means is I like to think of an anchor coming out of my body and going, let me do that again. My lips look funny when I do that. And going to the center of the earth, like it's grounding me, right? So those are little ways that that you'll be more present. So to grow your network equity, I said, number one, always think about how you may add value to other people. Number two, recognize that being present and listening to understand versus listening to respond always works. And it's amazing how much you learn when you don't actually talk, right? That's been a challenge for me. And if you notice, when I'm out with people, I'm a lot less talkative. I'm less loquacious now than I used to be. Look that one up, loquacious. And number three, how do we grow our network equity? Release outcome dependence. Recognize that someone that you may add value to may not give you value back in a direct sense. But you throw that frequency out to the universe, you blast those airwaves out there, and that love and that adding value, you know what's going to happen? It's going to come back to you. I guarantee it's going to come back to you in bigger ways than you can ever imagine. And yeah, like we said before, we don't throw sprinkles on a shit show. Sometimes times are tough. The world had a reset button in 2020. And are we going to survive or are we going to thrive? Are we going to be reactive to everything going on, or are we going to be proactive with what's going on? Are we going to get in this mode of comfort and safety and always going for our phone, let's say when we're in line at the grocery store and always having to do stuff? Or are we going to live beyond default, which is a life of design versus a life of neglect? And let's make sure that we're having fun with purpose, right? Because sometimes the personal growth and the personal development, it could get a little boring at times, right? Going to bed at 8:30 every night, or morning practices and reading, and yeah, it sounds like a great life, right? Well, it is a great life when you start to bring in fun with purpose and start planning cool things. So it's always important to have that. Think about your toes. I love that. Jack, networking and thinking out of the box is key. Yep, got it. Friends are my happy spot. I see some of my highest points in them. Roxanne, you joined us. Thank you so much for being on here. Oh, Roxanne has a story. We're going to have Roxanne on too. I'm throwing this out there right now. Roxanne, this is your invitation to come on the show. She says, tight circle, got to run to doctor appointment. Lunch, Sue Dane. Love you, Roxanne. Thank you so much. All right. It's that time. It's 8:30. It's 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. We got shit to do, right? I mean, I can talk all day, but do we really want that? So, as always, I want to thank you for showing up. And I want to thank you for encouraging me to be better, because this show really keeps me accountable to myself, to my crew, to my clients, and to Team Human. So thank you so much for being on this show, and kindly share the link with your friends, with your coworkers, with your managers. I'm always open to sharing a little bit more, or doing what I call a signature talk to any groups of businesses or people or mastermind groups that you might belong to. I'm always open for that. Of course, in the Chicagoland area, if you're interested in some real estate, I'm here too. But most importantly, I just want to collaborate with cool people. And that's what we're doing here on Live Beyond Default. All right. So again, thank you. Thank you, Marcello. Thank you so much, Jack, Tiara, Roxanne, Katie, Nate, Jessica, Penelope, everybody, for Brandon. Thank you so much for joining me on this show. And let's all do it at the same time at home right now, right? We know our signature closing line. And until next time, make it a great week. Thank you. I love you all.